So, unfortunately, we had a beloved member of our community pass, our city council member, Steve Faiai. And so his seat sat vacant since he passed. And so today was an attempt to try and fill that seat. So what we've tried to do is sit down together and deliberate. We've had some absolutely incredible candidates. It goes to show like the depth and wealth that we have in this community of really engaged servant leaders, each operating in their own spheres. And so we got to meet some of them, and they put their ring into the hat, and we listened to them, and they had some great support there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to come to a consensus on who to fill that seat, but I am hopeful that we are able to work together as a team moving forward and see what we can do to help ameliorate that situation, or we'll just hobble along until the next election in November. But we're leaving it open and seeing if we can't come up with some alternative methods in the future. In the future, we've asked the city manager and our city attorney to come back with some alternative options for us to see if there isn't some way that we can fill that seat. There's a lot of work to go around, and it's a heavy lift with just 4 of us, and so I'm still hoping for a resolution to this. A special election is very expensive. We're probably looking at about $400,000, and that's a street that wouldn't get paved, and that's a public staff worker that we could fill and get more work done cleaning up this town. So it's a really expensive price tag.
What compelled you to come through this whole process here?
You know, my husband loved being a city council member here in Lemon Grove. He was a bridge builder in our community. He loved bringing people together to move our city forward, and so this is a way that I can honor him and also just keep his heartbeat for the city alive for these next 14 months. I wasn't even thinking about it at the beginning, but very quickly, many people from the community asked me to step up and put my name in for it. And I had to consider whether or not I was strong enough to do this in this time. And I've realized that my husband's legacy and remembering him has made me stronger today than I ever have been. And so this would be an honor for me to do for our city and in honor of my husband. Yeah, I don't claim to be a experienced politician, but I see what an impact it can be made by bringing people together and listening to the people of the community and using all of our gifts and talents to work together to move the city forward.
Will you see yourself running in 2026?
That's not something that is in my plan right now, no.
All right.
Most of the candidates that applied, they all checked the box that said that they were going to run again in 2026. So it's giving other people a competitive advantage. I felt like Lauren Faiai was the person. She is a unifier. She's an extension of Steve Faiai. She wants to continue on his legacy. He had a lot of plans for the city of Lemon Grove. He was a peacemaker. He was a hard worker. He was a regular common folk. He was not a politician. He was loved by not just the community of Lemon Grove, but by many, many people around the East County. And I felt that she was the person to continue on his legacy, the work that they both set out to do when campaigning for his election, which that was just 9-10 months ago. They were on the ground campaigning together. So in essence, people elected him and as an extension, they elected her. There was a couple of candidates that also decided to withdraw their application because they felt that she was the right person. I didn't have experience coming in, and not to, I don't think it's hard. It's not hard work. It's easy to learn things. It does, it takes some dedication, and I think that she would have no problem learning how to conduct herself during a meeting, how to make decisions, how to call a motion, second it. So it's not that hard.
And where do we go from here? I did see that they were going to try to come up and see if we can have open conversations and dialogue. Where do you see yourself going from here?
I'm open to see what staff has to bring to the table, what other options there are, and we will take it from there.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I want to echo your comments in the sense that, every time we do this, whether it's for a city council position or a planning commission position, I am just absolutely amazed at the caliber of people who live here in Lemon Grove and who share our passion for our little city. So I do thank each and every one of you for coming in here and putting yourself out there. I too was an applicant at one time before I actually ran for office, and I was not chosen. So I know what that's like. And then I turned around and I ran for office, I think 4 years later. So if we don't pick you, there's three seats open in November. So please think about running, because you are all excellent possibilities for this.
I suggest another round of discussion, depending on how you'd like to proceed.
I will announce the votes. Councilmember Heredia cast her vote for Lauren Faiai. Councilmember Yadira Altamirano cast her vote for Lauren Faiai. Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza cast her vote. The first choice, Jay Bass. Second choice, Seth Smith. Third choice, Joe Smith. And Mayor Snow, her first choice was Jay Bass, second choice Joseph Smith, and then third choice Seth Smith. We had a tie between Jay Bass and Lauren Faiai.
So that's not a vote. The reason we gather that information is so that you can narrow down your field and then discuss further amongst yourselves how you would like to proceed. If there's a tie, you can of course make motions and seconds and try to vote through it if you'd like to. If there's a tie and you cannot break the tie, then it's a no decision. So if there's no decision, then we can proceed either to call a special election, but you would also need a majority vote to call a special election. And that we're not here to decide the special election tonight. We're only here to decide on the appointment. So I'm just telling you, if there's a tie that cannot be broken, then that's a no decision.
I'll look to our Councilmembers Altamirano and Heredia, and it looks like we don't have top candidates. Can you please give us second and third options too?
My second and third option is Lauren Faiai.
So as you're unwilling to even contemplate another person, I don't think we'll be able to get the votes where we need to tonight. And unfortunately, what I think we'll have to, one thing that we can do is get a whole new slate of candidates and move forward that way, or the likelihood that we'll end up with an empty seat is high. So again, if there's any way we can get you guys to consider a second or third candidate, or explain at least why you won't consider anyone else on this list of highly qualified candidates, I'll leave it open to you. Councilmember Heredia.
Can I finish?
We're going to go to Councilmember Heredia first, and then I'll call him.
I'm putting all my support behind Lauren. I don't plan on changing that. The reason that is because Lauren is, again, the only one that's really a very neutral, nonpartisan person. I love you, Jay Bass, you're great, we work well together, I've been on other committees with you, but you've been on a lot of committees over the years, and it's time for the new voices and this younger generation to come in and build, and that's where we're at. So, you know, again, I think it's really important. This is a very traditional, common thing that happens in government all the time. It's actually a very historical thing that started off with women who lost their husbands and they weren't allowed to have hold political office, and that's why this became something of the norm. Despite all that, and that's not to say anything, because really it comes down to what I need is somebody that's going to build bridges and not upset the side that's upset right now. And Jay Bass isn't going to do that for this community. Leaving a seat blank isn't going to do that for this community. Both sides of the aisles have contacted me throughout this process asking if Lauren was going to run. That tells me a lot. That tells me what the community needs to hear. They need for Lauren to do a 14-month position up here to keep the narrative the same, keep a calm collective on everybody's plate, because at the end of the day we have a lot of tension and we have like 2 teams, and it's really sad and it upsets me because I know I'm up here working trying to like get us to kind of do the business, but it's really hard when we can't get it done because there's so much conflict. And the only way to get through that is not to add more conflict to the fire. So I'm still going to stay strong, and I'd like to continue to keep all my support to Lauren. I think it would be great if you guys could consider that as well. So, thank you.
Well, I think I was pretty clear on how I feel. I want to protect our staff. I want to get work done. I don't feel any conflict with the 4 of us. And if we go on with just the 4 of us for the next 14 months, then so be it. We haven't had any issues like where we've had lots of split votes on things. We tend to agree. And so this is one thing where it looks like we don't agree and we don't want to compromise. I am not in favor of a special election and what that would cost our city. So my motion is that we're done. I move, staff is looking for direction, and I move that we've come to an impasse, and that's our direction to staff.
You want to make a motion for your choice and have it fail for the record?
Sure. I move that we appoint Jay Bass to the empty council seat.
I'll second that, but I'll give a little bit more comment. I really hoped, and this is, so going back to the first appointment process where we had Yadira Altamirano added as a council member, that was my olive branch. I came and wanted to reach out to that side of the community. I wanted to have somebody who came in and was able to be able to assuage some of the conflict that I had seen in the community. And so I cast my vote in favor of Yadira. I have been grateful for how she's represented herself on this council. She has been someone who brings her perspective, but has been utterly professional and has been a pleasure and a delight to work with. I really enjoy being able to work with each of the council members up here. Jessyka Heredia has been a true asset. Mayor Mendoza is a wealth of experience and just has a heart of gold and is the epitome of a servant leader. This is a new day and a new dawn in our city. A lot of people who've come to these meetings have really been able to feel the difference. And part of that is because we made a conscious decision, and me in particular made a conscious decision to try and reach out that olive branch. I also
change some of the things that have been done from the previous mayoral seat. I recognize groups in the committee and in the community that haven't been recognized for their good hard work. We recognize people who are doing anti-graffiti work. We gave them certificates of recognition and we celebrated them in our community rather than having that community divided. We've tried really hard to mend these rifts in our community. Those have been conscious efforts, intentional efforts to try and change how this community had been interacting with itself. And we've seen great things happen. There's still some division, we still have work to do, but we are trying to mend those bridges. I put my vote and cast my vote behind Ms. Councilmember Altamirano, and that gave that quotient of the equation the majority vote. That's how much I was willing to risk and how much confidence I had in that candidate, that she would be able to weather the storms that she would experience in her own community of friends and be able to get the job done. At that time, Councilmember Heredia was again unwilling to come with any other option other than her candidate. And I am disappointed in the lack of ability to come to some kind of compromise, because this work is hard. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. All of us are managing jobs, families, and other things in addition to this. And one empty seat means that, 20% of the work that would have been handled by that person is now back on our shoulders. And so I do want to fill that seat. I don't want an empty seat sitting there. But we have made compromises, and we just have to grab the ball and run. And the best candidate to do that is Jay Bass. He has been here at every council meeting. He is at every workshop. He is at every priority session. And he has been doing that for over a decade. And so that's the kind of person who I think can pick up the ball and run with this. I don't want that seat empty, but we'll go ahead and I'm the second on the motion, so we'll go ahead and take the vote. Councilmember Yadira Altamirano. Before we get to the vote, we'll go to Councilmember Altamirano.
Thank you, Mayor Snow. I really do appreciate your comments, and I appreciate you having voted for me at the time. And I believe that I have proven to you, like you said, that we can work together, that we can make it happen. By you not voting for Lauren, that is creating more of a separation. Lauren is the person that will unify us because she has no issue with nobody. She gets along with everybody. I really like Jay Bass. We have worked together and we have known each other for a long time. He does sit on multiple boards. He does have experience, but that's not to say that Lauren is not a very intelligent, fast learner. Manola, that was a class act, gave her support to Lauren. The people want Lauren. I believe that by voting for Lauren, you are also continuing to extend that olive branch. I'll second the thoughts of Jessyka Heredia in regards to just 10 months ago, Lauren was on the streets knocking on every single door with her husband, Seth Smith. You got to know the people. The people got to know you. The people love you. I'm not saying that Jay Bass isn't loved. He is loved in this community as well. But because of the tragic loss that we just had, it's as if we're saying, Seth Smith, we're re-electing you one more time because of what you did for us. You are an extension of him. Everybody knows it. I know it. Some people on the dais may know it. You make the most sense to me, to the people. And it was once said on this dais, what the Faiais want, the Faiais get. And to me, that sounded like a promise. By not choosing you, we are breaking that promise. You are here to do the work of your husband, to live out his legacy. And that's why I'm choosing you. You get along with everybody. You're a unifier. You're a unifying voice. You're a force. You're a powerful woman. And I am just so impressed, and I admire you so much for how well you've handled yourself in times of tragedy, and how you're going to handle yourself up here if you are to get appointed tonight. You are going to move with grace and honor and respect. You're that person. Thank you. Thank you for applying, and thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being that person, not just for us here, but for everyone in the community and the extended community in East County. You are well known all over East County, Santee, La Mesa, OB. I see how you carry yourself, and I'm just inspired by that. I want to work with you. And if we don't choose you, we're making a great mistake. We can work together. We can continue to work together as four of us up here, because we do that well. But we need to fill that seat. And my vote is for you.
I'd like to put a second motion on the floor.
Wait,
Can't we do
so we'll,
two motions?
all right, did you mean a substitute motion? Yeah.
I'd like to motion that we vote to, or we move to approve Lauren as our appointed council member.
And I would be glad to second that vote.
Substitute motions are heard first, so we'll take the vote on the second motion unless there's continued discussion.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza?
I don't want to, I have to say something because I don't want to feel like I'm not sympathetic to the situation. I lost my husband 2 years ago, September 3rd. Same thing, heart attack, shock, total shock. I know exactly what you're going through. I know how hard it is to stay strong. But I believe that what is best for our city right now is to get someone who has some experience up here. And I am standing by those three people. I'd take any one of them. I'm willing to compromise. And if it's Jay Bass or Seth Smith or Joe Smith, I'm just asking my two council members to please fill the seat and try to compromise with your other council members. We've thrown 3 names out of the 7 people who were up here. That's almost 50%. And it saddens me that we can't come to a compromise on this. But it is vital that we have someone with experience, or I think we have no one at all, because we cannot bring another person up to speed in the next in just a year. It's just going to be a year. So I urge you, if you really want to be on the city council, any of you who have applied today, run for city council next year. Let the people decide on you. And I say that to everyone. So I feel very strongly that we have to have someone with experience up here.
Just, if I thought that everything would be healed by just appointing one person or another, I would do that. But there's no person. Steve Faiai was up here, and he couldn't achieve that. Like, there's always going to be differences of opinion. There's always going to be people who have different thoughts and want to do what they do. And that's what makes us a community. That's what makes us rich. That's what makes us diverse, and we're stronger because of it. But I don't think that picking one person over another is going to heal those ones. I tried. I thought that I could appease people by being able to do that, and I couldn't. It just didn't work. And so what we have to do now is try and find the best person to fill this. And those are my thoughts, and I'll turn it over to Joelle to call the vote.
On the substitute motion, the motion was made by Councilmember Heredia with a second by Councilmember Altamirano to appoint Lauren Faiai to the vacant city council seat with a term ending on December 2026. I will now conduct the roll to go on the record. Councilmember Heredia.
Aye.
Councilmember Altamirano.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza.
No.
Mayor Snow.
No.
Motion fails. Back to the original motion. The original motion on the floor was made by Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza with a second by Mayor Snow to appoint Jay Bass to the vacant council seat with a term ending on December 2026. I will now conduct the roll to go on the record. Councilmember Altamirano.
No.
Councilmember Heredia.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza.
Aye.
Mayor Snow.
Aye.
The motion fails.
So with the failure of the two motions, at this point, I think we've come to an impasse. I'll check in with my council members to see if that's the case.
That is the case for me.
Okay. So with the failure of this, do we want to scrap this slate and have another slate come back at a different time, and we try this process again with a new group of candidates?
I don't think that would.
So I would like to at least come back and try again, and be able to see if there is somebody in the community that we can reach some consensus on. So I'd like to take another stab at it because there's still an empty seat there.
If you'd like to, we can have staff bring back an alternative report that would give some alternative ideas about how to make the appointment or whether the council would like to consider a special election.
Yeah, I'd like that. Any other options? Nope. Okay. Oh, Councilmember Altamirano?
I have a question. What does that mean? Does that mean that?
Well, the mayor,
It opens up-
for example, suggested perhaps a slate of new candidates. That could be an option to consider. We can bring back, different methods of the appointment process that might help break a tie. And then, of course, the alternative is a special election and get feedback from the city council. If there's no consensus, then, we continue to try. The law does say shall appoint, shall call a special election. However, it also requires a majority vote in order to do so. So I think it may be a good option for us to bring back some alternatives for you to consider and see if there's a way to break the ice. But that's up to you. You direct us.
I'd like to at least have some options.